A big part of living sustainably is preserving energy and wasting as little as possible. Let's start with some of my favourite ways to tackle this in the home. When replacing appliances, look for those with a good energy efficiency rating. A rating of A is the best in the UK. You can measure the energy consumption of the appliances you already have with a simple power meter. That doesn't mean you should replace an appliance just because it's energy inefficient, but it can help you make improvements when it's time to get a new one. If you need a new cooker and can afford it, induction hobs are more energy efficient than gas or electric. This is because the heat goes directly into the pan and doesn't heat the air around it. There can be a steep learning curve when changing to an induction hob, but it's by far the most energy efficient choice. Put a lid on pans when boiling water. The water will boil faster and you'll only use the energy you need. Make sure you use an appropriate size pan for what you are cooking. Using a large pan for only a small amount of food will waste energy. If you have a microwave, it's far more energy efficient to use it to heat up smaller amounts of food. If, however, you need to use the oven, the most energy efficient way to use it is to fill it. Install aerators onto taps. Tap aerators have little holes in them which allows air to mix with the water stream. This means you have greater pressure, but you use less water. What's not to like? It may sound pretty gross, but you can compost hair and nail clippings. Instead of just throwing these in the trash, add them to your kitchen compost bin. Okay, tech. Increase the time between phone charges by reducing your screen's brightness and turning off Bluetooth, Wi-Fi and 4 or 5G when you don't need it. If you keep your phone's battery charged between 20% and 80%, you can extend its life and therefore the life of your phone. Only upgrade when you really need to. It's tempting to want the latest iteration of your current laptop or phone, but as these items are so resource intensive to make, it's best to hold off as long as possible. Repair if you can. If you want to give it a go yourself, iFixit is a great website which sells parts and repair guides for items from phones to pet smart feeders. The ethos behind iFixit is that consumers have a right to repair and we can fight against planned obsolescence. The iFixit website also has information on how repairable some items are, such as laptops, and ranks them accordingly, so you can take this into account when making a new purchase. Look for a TCO certification when buying new tech. It's an independent sustainability certification that covers environmental and social responsibility in the supply chain and life cycle of the product. TCO certified products are required to be built to last, repairable and durable. You can search through their database of certified products online. I'll put the link in the description. Delete old emails. Each email we store in the cloud uses about 0.3 grams of CO2 based on carbon emissions. This is your sign to delete old emails you don't need anymore. Get rid of spam emails and unsubscribe from all of those newsletters you never actually read. Switch to an environmentally friendly search engine like Ecosia. 80% of its profits are donated to non-profit organisations which focus on reforestation. Choose a peeler phone case. Okay, let's talk about money. Take a look at any insurance policies you have. Does the company have an ethical investment policy? Does the company invest in fossil fuels? Insurance companies have a lot of money to play with and they don't just sit on it, they invest it. Asking for transparency from your insurer about their investments is a good step to making sure you are not inadvertently funding unsustainable and/or unethical practices. Along the same lines as insurance, ask the same questions of your bank and pension provider, if you have one. Do they fund ultra deep sea drilling? Do they pay a fair amount of tax? App-based banks may be a better option, but only if they have a comprehensive and clear ethical policy. It may feel like a massive hassle to switch banks, but it's easier than you think, and in the UK at least, all your money, direct debits and standing orders can be switched over within 7 working days. What about food and drink? If you drink wine, consider buying boxed rather than bottled. Boxed wine has a bad reputation in the past, but things are changing. There are plenty of wonderful wines that come in boxes, and what's even better is that boxed wine has a drastically reduced carbon footprint than wine in glass bottles. Once opened, boxed wine will also last much longer than bottled. It's true that some parts are made of plastic and may not be recyclable, but it's an overall more eco-friendly choice to wine in glass. There are, however, some wine companies that produce boxed wine with recyclable inner bags. If you're not vegetarian or vegan, try committing to 1 or 2 meat-free days a week. I'm sure I'm not telling you anything new here, but by reducing our meat consumption is one of the most impactful things we can do when it comes to sustainability, so it always bears repeating. If the idea of being completely meat-free makes you feel deprived, just try focusing on eating more plant-based foods. Eat more variety in general. Just as with the big five fish, there is too much pressure on very small number of plants and animal food sources. If we as consumers increase demand for a wider variety of foods, we can increase agrobiodiversity, resulting in more resilient and sustainable agricultural system. Why not try a vegetable you have never considered buying before next time you go shopping? Reduce the amount of processed food you consume. Manufacturing these foods involves energy-intensive processes and they tend to have supply chain issues. This means more food waste along the chain and more unnecessary packaging. Of course, it's not accessible to everyone, so just do the best you can with what you have accessible to you. Okay, what about some just general sustainability ideas? To paraphrase a well-known quote, every time you buy something, you are casting a vote. It's not practical to consider every single penny, but before you give your money away, consider whom or what you will be supporting by doing so. The more we vote with our money, the more the big businesses and policymakers will take note. What if it's free? Receipts, spare napkins? Just say no, if you can. Reduce the amount of junk mail and leaflets you receive in the post. In the UK, you can contact Royal Mail to block junk mail from this arriving in the post, although this won't stop door-to-door posting. There is also a scheme called Your Choice, which provides a form you can fill out to opt in or opt out of this kind of direct marketing. There are other ways to reduce marketing communications of this kind, and it's certainly worth looking up if you find yourself with lots of unwanted leaflets that just go straight in the recycling. Contact brands to ask them about their sustainability policies or whether they have considered reducing or improving their packaging. You may not get the response you want, but it indicates to a brand that this is a priority for consumers. Lead by example. It's easy to get preachy when you feel passionate about something, but the best way I've found to influence others is to focus on my own journey. No one wants to be guilt-tripped into changing their lifestyle. If you can encourage a curiosity about your choices, others will start to come on board at their own pace. You could even share this video with someone if they have expressed an interest in sustainable living and would like to learn more. Inform yourself. It can be difficult to find out which are the most sustainable options, especially when consumers must contend with all things like greenwashing. Approach brands' eco-friendly claims with skepticism and read widely. With academic writing, make sure the paper is peer-reviewed. If you're attending an event such as a wedding, consider renting an outfit rather than buying one new, especially if you'll only wear it a handful of times or even just once. There are several rental services that will deliver and the prices are generally reasonable considering what you are getting. It's important to note that renting is not without its own environmental impact. Transporting, packaging, and dry cleaning are also a consideration for this option. Wash your jeans less. Some say you should wash your jeans every 4 to 6 weeks. You might not want to go as far as the CEO of Levi's, who said a while back that he hadn't washed his favourite pair of jeans for 10 years, but you get the idea. Overwashing your clothes can reduce their lifespan and uses unnecessary electricity. Lastly, just do your best. I always like to end on this one because it can feel like you're not doing enough. Take whatever is applicable to you and simply leave the rest. If you want more ideas on how to live sustainably, then check out my 100 zero waste swaps you have to try, or my 100 food waste swaps you have to try as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.